What's going on, guys? Bossboy6 here, back to another video, and today I have a interesting video I have for you guys. Now, for those of you who know me for a long time, or have known this channel ever since it basically started, you guys know I am a huge wrestling fan, and wrestling content nowadays on my channel has been very sparse. I really haven't been up to date for a lot of things, and quite frankly, the reasons as to why is because I just didn't feel like it was really necessary, unless there was maybe some retro reviews or maybe some topics or some ideas that I have planned, and potentially people are going to be interested in watching the wrestling content that I still watch even to this very day. But this topic kind of came up when I was listening to a gentleman at work that I've been subscribed to for a while. And he was basically going through all of the pay-per-views in the 2000, I should say in the year 2000, and just basically going over every pay-per-view. And the one pay-per-view that stood out to me most, and is obviously the topic of this video, is Wrestlemania 2000, or Wrestlemania 16 for you nerds out there. Actually, it's Wrestlemania 16. They were calling everything 2000 in 2000. I mean, there was a Dracula movie, there was a Godzilla movie in 2000. Everything was called 2000 by this point. Now, I do want to clarify for this one here. This video, I'm going to be maybe starting a new little series on my channel where I'm going to be taking some booking decisions or maybe some pay-per-views or some matches maybe, and how would I book them personally? Now, since Mania is going to be coming around the corner here in just about a month and a half, and let's be honest, there's really little to no build for the Mania that's happening again in Vegas this year, I might as well go back and look at some WrestleManias that I figured could have been shaken up a little bit. And I figured 2000 was the best the best one to start off with, because this Mania, if you just look at this card, there was like nothing on this card that really stood out aside from maybe two matches, and I'll get to them here in a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I will be talking what was actually on the card for 2000, and how would I book the matches? And I'm going to be doing it in match order, who's all going to be in the matches, and who I think is going to win. And maybe I'll throw it in a sequence here and there just to kind of spice things up a little bit. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into how I will book all of WrestleMania 2000. So, the first match of the show we kick off with is a tag match, and those of you who don't know, a lot of tag matches on the show, a lot of multi-man matches. There was only one singles match. I'll get to that one here in a little bit. So, yeah, we start off with the opening tag match. The Big Boss Man, and Bull Buchanan, who just recently debuted for the company not that long ago, prior to this, versus The Godfather and D'Lo Brown with Ice-T and the Ho Train. And one of the future hoes will be a young Miss Victoria. Yes, the legendary Victoria, who will later go on to be Tara in TNA, made her debut here. The match was fine. It felt more of a showcase for Buchanan than anything. D'Lo Brown's stock by this point dropped massively. The Godfather was kind of just hanging on to past glories. This will be the Boss Man's last ever Mania match. And this was mainly to showcase the up-and-coming Buchanan, who, his kid, if you guys don't know, is actually Brooks Jensen, who is in NXT, I believe, still. I don't fully remember what happened. He was in the tag team with Josh Briggs, and I don't really know what happened to them. Like, they were a tag team. They were kind of a big part of NXT 2.0, but I don't know what the hell happened to them. But yeah, Buchanan, he didn't do a whole lot in WWE. He will later go on to be in the Right to Censor group later on in the year and find some minimal success. He would also be John Cena's bodyguard, his big heavy, known as B Squared. Yeah, that was an actual thing they did in 2003. Yeah, 2003 was a weird year for WWE. But this match here, it was a little over 9 minutes. Not an ideal way to start off this Mania in particular. Then we get to one of the more infamous matches in Mania history. We have the Hardcore Battle Royal, a 15-minute Hardcore Battle Royal for the Hardcore Championship. We've got defending champion Crash Holly defending against Hardcore Holly, Brashon Farouk, aka the Acolytes, who will later go on to be the APA, Funaki and Taka Michinoku, aka Kai and Tai, Joey Abs, Pete Gas and Rodney, aka the Mean Street Posse, Viscera, Taz, who, Jesus Christ, we want to talk about a guy who they did nothing after his Rumble debut, looked no further than him, and the Headbangers of Mosh and Thrasher. Oh, Jesus Christ. This whole match was a fucking disaster from start to finish. The 24/7 rule was implied, still at this point, a gimmick I thought lasted way too fucking long, in my opinion. And there was 10 title changes in this match. Absolutely ridiculous. It was so bizarre that there was 10 title changes in this match. Taz was a champion for like 50 seconds. Then it was Viscera. Then it was Funaki. Then it was Rodney. Then Abs, Thrasher, Gas, Taz. Went back to Crash. And then the infamous part of the match where Taz is the Taz mission on Crash. And Bob Holly has a candy jar with him. Hits both Crash and Taz at the same time. And the point of the match was... the match was going to end in a draw where Crash will retain the title as a Houdini of Hardcore. But the problem is, I believe it was referee Tim White counted way too early, and Crash ended up winning the title by accident at a Wrestlemania. Thankfully, though, it was the Hardcore title. It wasn't like it was the Intercontinental or even the European title, so it really didn't matter at that point. Crash will win it on the night after. But yeah, this whole match was a fucking mess. The only memorable part besides the botched finish was the interview that Michael Cole did with Hardcore Holly, where he called Michael Cole a shithead, which I thought was funny. But yeah, this match was a disaster from start to finish. And again, I'll talk about who should be in this match and who I'm going to be taking out when I get into my rebooking here. Then we get another tag match. This one is between Tess and Albert, aka TNA, get it, titty jokes, with a debuting Trish Stratus. This is Trish's first ever pay-per-view debut. And she's really cutting her teeth with this whole fitness model transforming into wrestling thing that she did. Then they're taking on the famous tag team of Head Cheese, which is Al Snow and Steve Blackman. Yeah, raise your hand if you remember that tag team. Al tried to make it work, but Blackman's, all seriousness or no personality gimmick wasn't really working. I don't know why this was on the card. I guess it was just an excuse for Tess and Albert to get their stuff in, and they won in 7 minutes. I got other plans for these guys in case you don't know. Then we get to the big highlight of the show, the only great match on the show, for being completely honest. We have the Triangle Ladder match for the WWF Tag Team titles. We have Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys. So, the build-up was, well, whose gimmick is who? You have the Hardy Boys, who are pretty known for the ladder spots. You've got the Dudley Boys, who are putting people through tables. Edge and Christian, chairs, because why not? This match is basically the first TLC match without being called TLC, so there's kind of that novelty for it, and also they will later go on to have a TLC match at SummerSlam, which I thought was a little bit better than this one, but this is still a hell of a match. I mean, it's a Mania classic in my opinion. It's one of my favorite Mania matches, and the match that really stole the show with 23.5 minutes. Edge and Christian win the tag titles from the Dudleys, and they would defend it up until, I believe up until the week before King of the Ring, because I think they dropped the titles to Too Cool, and then they won them back. The tag titles changed so many fucking times in 2000. It was honestly ridiculous. Edge and Christian would be 7-time tag team champions by the end of the year. A little excessive, if you ask me. But yeah, great match. One of the few matches, spoiler, that I'm actually going to keep. Then we have Terry Reynolds with the Fabulous Moolah. Everyone loves the Fabulous Moolah. Versus the Cat with Mae Young with Val Venus as a special guest referee, a cat fight, if you will. I don't know why this was on the card. This was 2.5 minutes, and Terry Reynolds won. That's all you really need to know about this match. Spoiler, I'm actually going to be keeping this match, but you'll understand what I'm talking about. Next up, we have a random as fuck match right here. We have a 6-person intergender tag match. We have China and Too Cool of Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty 2 Hotty against the Radicals, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, and Eddie Guerrero. This is Eddie's first ever pay-per-view match. He famously, I think, dislocated his elbow against Billy Gunn in their tryout match on SmackDown, so Eddie was on the shelf for a little bit, but he's making his pay-per-view debut here, and China and Too Cool won. I don't know why per se, but this all led up to the Eddie and China relationship, which was fucking great. That was some great shit right there, and on paper it really shouldn't work, because it's two different clash of styles, but they made it work. They really made it work, and it really showed that Eddie really did care about China, and, you know, really liked working with her. So I guess there's that, but yeah, Radicals getting the win here didn't really make a whole lot of sense. The match didn't even last 10 minutes. Then we get to the other saving grace of this entire show. We have the two-fall triple threat match for the Intercontinental and the European titles. Champions, Kurt Angle, defending it against Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. The first fall will be for the IC title, the second for the European title. Actually a good match. I guess the only problem is that I felt like it really didn't click into second gear for a good chunk of the match, but they only got like 13 and a half minutes, so I felt like they didn't get a whole lot of time to really, you know, space out some stuff. But we still got a pretty good match here. Jericho would take the fall to Benoit, so Benoit will win the Intercontinental title, and Jericho would actually pin Benoit, so that way Angle wasn't able to lose any of the titles. So I guess there's that. I am going to be keeping this match, although you can make an argument for what they should have done. You can make an argument for something that they could have done. But I'll get to that here in a little bit. Then we get the penultimate match. Another tag match, playa. Like, I swear to God, I felt like this is a dream mania for Teddy Long, I swear to God. We get Kane and Rikishi with Paul Bearer taking on D-Generation X of X-Pac and Road Dogg with Tori. Nona Tori Wilson. Y'all remember the stalker that Sable had the year prior in 99? It was that Tori. And when her and Sable had one of the worst Mania matches of all time. Yeah, it was that Tori. Why was this a tag match? Like, seriously, this was the blow-off to the X-Pac and Kane feud, a feud that's been building up over the span of 99, where Kane and X-Pac both got dejected by both of their factions. They became unlikely tag partners, and then they split up, and Tori had to spend the night, or spend the holidays with X-Pac because Kane lost the Big Show. And she developed feelings for him, betrayed Kane, and then Kane came back. They had a match at No Way Out. And then they had this match here with Rikishi, and it made no fucking sense. And Kane and Rikishi won in 4 minutes. The only thing that was memorable was Pete Rose in the chicken suit again. He didn't get tombstone. He got choke slammed to hit with a stink face. Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know why this was a tag match. Just didn't even get any time. So what the fuck was the point? Then we get the main event. Fatal 4-Way elimination match for the WWE title. Triple H with Stephanie McMahon in his corner. The Rock with Mr. McMahon in his corner. Foley with Linda in his corner. And The Big Show with Shane in his corner. McMahon in every corner, and Jesus Christ did it show. This match was a complete fucking mess. This was an absolute, I wouldn't say disaster, but man, this crowd was not giving a shit about this match. And it sucks too. This is the main event of a WrestleMania. Why the fuck Okay, so many things were wrong going into this match. Number one, you completely negated the Foley retirement angle that you did at No Way Out the month prior in the Hell in a Cell match. Foley was done. Like, he was legit done. He literally could not walk anymore. And you're bringing back 6 weeks later? Like, I get it. Vince felt bad that that Foley never got a Mania main event despite all the shit that Foley did. And when Austin went out for neck injury at the tail end of 99, Foley stepped up and be like, okay, but after this, I'm done. And this is what we got. Like, if Foley was going to unretire to be in this match, he should have won. He should have won. There was no reason to bring him back if he was just going to take the fall. And it made no sense. Him and Triple H were teaming up against The Rock for some weird reason. Big Show was out in like 5 minutes, so there you go. And it was just an absolute mess. Like, the build-up was a mess. Like, Rock and Big Show fighting because Big Show technically won the Rumble, even though the referee's decision was final. So you do that match at No Way Out. Shane comes back after being gone for a little bit. He cost The Rock the match, but then The Rock gets back into the Mania picture, and this whole thing was just a fucking mess. An absolute mess of a match. So yeah, Big Show, he got eliminated, like I said, in like 5 minutes. Then Foley got eliminated about 15 minutes later, and then The Rock got screwed out of the title by Vince, and Triple H wins, which is the first time a heel has won the main event of a WrestleMania. Now, technically Yoko did it at Mania 9, but that wasn't the final match because Hogan ultimately went out on top. But yeah, this match was just a fucking mess. It made no sense. And, I mean, all the participants are going to stay involved, but I'm going to do it a lot better here. So yeah, very, very dull way to end a Mania here. I still don't understand why they went that route, because The Rock never walked out as a WWE champion. Like, every time he went to WrestleMania, he would drop the title. So yeah, it makes no fucking sense why they did this. So we got the actual card out of the way. How would I book this show personally? Well, here is what I would do for Mania 2000. So there's technically 8 matches, but 7 on the main show. I have a pre-show match. We have a 6-team battle royal for number 1 contenders match at the tag team titles. We have the Acolytes, Kaientai, Mean Street Posse, the Headbangers, TNA, Bull Buchanan and Boss Man, and D'Lo Brown and the Godfather. Now, people are asking, well, why would you have a battle royal on the pre-show? Like, where would it place? Like, okay, if it wasn't going to be on the pre-show, where would you put it on the card? Me, personally, I would have probably done it after the cat fight, so that way you can get some levels of intrigue. But I put it on the pre-show because I wanted to give some other matches on the show some time. So maybe I should have probably put it on the regular show, but I put it on the pre-show so that way you can get somewhat of the crowd warmed up right before the main show started. And who would I have win? I would probably have the Acolytes win because they will later go on to face Edge and Christian at Fully Loaded. And at the next show, Backlash, them would take on Buchanan and Boss Man. And you could set up a story where, you know, the Acolytes were going to challenge for the tag titles, but Boss Man and Buchanan screw them out. And then that's when you bring in Foley as the commissioner and be like, okay, you guys got screwed over. You guys got screwed over here. You'll still get your tag title match whenever you want. So there you go. So yeah, I would have the Acolytes win this match here, and they would challenge for the tag titles. So we start off with the actual first match of the show on the main show. We have a 6-man elimination match for the Hardcore title. You have Crash Holly defending against Hardcore Holly, Taz, Viscera, Al Snow, and Steve Blackman. So none of the guys. So basically, all the tag teams that were in the Hardcore Battle Royal would be on the pre-show for the tag title number one contenders match, and Snow and Blackman would actually be in the Hardcore title match because it fits them a little bit more personally, and Blackman would become a Hardcore champion later on, and most of these guys will win the Hardcore title anyway, so there you go there. And the only way you can win the Hardcore title is whoever is left standing wins. So whoever gets pinned isn't going to be the Hardcore champion. They're just eliminated from the match. And have this match, warm up the crowd a little bit, do some crazy stuff. Don't go, all out bonkers. Keep it, controlled. You can go to the back and have a couple little spots there. But do it in about maybe 10 or 11 minutes, and you have Crash ultimately win, where kind of do the sequence what they were planning to do before it got fucked up, where Hardcore Holly's eliminated. Taz has the Taz mission on Crash, and you have Holly, looks like he's gonna hit Crash, but hits Taz instead, and he lets Crash pin Taz, and Crash will retain the title there, so that way Holly can have a thing where I wanted to beat him my way and all that stuff, and I'm a fair man and all that stuff, so there you go there. So yeah, I would have Crash retain the retain the Hardcore title here. So next up, we have the two-fall triple threat IC title match for the IC and European titles. Benoit, Jericho, and Angle. I had the match go the same, but give it a little more time, maybe about 17 minutes. Benoit wins the IC and Jericho wins the European. There you go there. Although I was thinking about doing where you would have Jericho take on Angle for the European title, and then maybe shortly thereafter or later on down the card, you have Angle and Benoit go for the IC title. But that's two heels going after the IC belt. Didn't want to really confuse the crowd here. Maybe you could try to get some sympathy on Kurt since he just lost the IC belt, but it is what it is. And you could still have it to where Angle was never pinned to lose the belt, so you can do it like that. Next up, we have the Cat versus Terry Reynolds, and the Cat fight, have Terry win. Basically, it's the piss break match. Everyone gets their popcorn and everything like that. Moving on. Then we get the Triangle Ladder match for the tag titles. Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. Edge and Christian will retain the titles. Go about 20 minutes. Get in and get out. Or, get your shit in. And that's basically it. Yep, Edge and Christian will retain there. Then, the fifth match on the card, Rikishi and Too Cool with China will take on the Radicals. And I would have the Radicals win here. You could still have Eddie trying to flirt with China and all that stuff. And Rikishi and Too Cool were over as fuck. But I felt like them getting the win here didn't make a whole lot of sense. Hell, they defeated the Radicals in their first ever pay-per-view match as a group at No Way Out. So that was kind of an odd thing to do. I would have them get their heat back and get their get their heat back, get their win back. And if you still wanted Too Cool to do the dance and everything like that, that's fine too. But I would have the Radicals get their heat back and continue the Eddie and China storyline that they would have going forward. And then we have the penultimate match. We have a cage match. Kane with Paul Bearer versus X-Pac with Road Dogg and Tori. Now, a lot of you might be saying, well, why are you doing a cage match here when they did one at Armageddon and they did one on Raw, I think, right before this, I think? Well, me personally, I'm kind of just, forgetting about that. Me personally, I would just have them have a regular match at Armageddon. I know they had a regular match at Survivor Series, but this is where Kane's more aggressive and more pissed off and everything like that. And if you want Kane to get taken out, after the match as well, you can have him return, have the no holds barred match as well. But it's ultimately, X-Pac is getting under Kane's skin to where Kane just wants to fucking murder this guy. Have it where he has nowhere to run and have it be in a cage match. And save the tombstone for Tori here. They did it a couple times. I know they did it on SmackDown. I think they did it at No Way Out, I believe. It's like, why aren't you saving that for the Mania match? So yeah, I would have Kane win, ultimately get his revenge on X-Pac. You know, Road Dogg tries to help, but to no avail. Kane wins, choke slam, then say fucking just give him a tombstone. And then, you know, Kane would leave and all that stuff. And Tori is checking on X-Pac. And next thing you know, Kane is, you know, cornering her, in the, you know, gives her a tombstone, send the crowd home happy. There you go. And then we get the main event. WWE title match. We have The Rock with Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, and Mick Foley in this corner against Triple H with Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and The Big Show in his corner. Now, I know it sounds like a clusterfuck, and it kind of is on paper, but the reason why I have those people at their respective sides is because they're all going to play a big part in the finish. And plus, you can have some interactions between, you know, Big Show and The Rock and Foley and Triple H, and you can have some skirmishes go on the outside and all that stuff. Have them interact, but don't get physical up until the ref bump. Have the ref bump happen, and Rock is about to hit the people's elbow, hits the rope. Shane comes out of nowhere, dinks The Rock with the chair. Vince comes in, just beats the shit out of Shane, and then you have Stephanie come in, hit Vince right in the nuts. Vince goes down like a sack of shit. Then Linda comes into the ring, and she and Stephanie just lock eyes at each other. Stephanie's talking so much shit. She goes to slap her, but, you know, Linda slaps Stephanie. Triple H gets up. He is pissed. He, you know, corners Linda, is about to punch her. Foley comes in, starts fending off Triple H. Big Show gets involved. And, you know, The Rock and Triple H, you know, they get everything like that. Well, you would have like Foley hit the mandible claw, but then the Big Show gets involved, and then, you know, Big Show clears off the table. Foley looks like he's about to go through it. Low blow, you know, hits the mandible claw on the Big Show or Mr. Sacco. Big Show is knocked out on the table. Foley does an elbow drop to the table because fuck it, why not? Triple H is wondering where he's at. The Rock gets up, hits the rock bottom, hits the people's elbow. Referee comes in, slow count, 1, 2, 3. He have a massive ovation. Send the crowd home happy. And there you go. If you want Vince to turn on The Rock, do it in the build-up to Backlash, and then you can really have the card stacked against The Rock. Instead of Triple H versus The Rock, where Triple H is the world champion, have The Rock go in, trying to defend the belt, and then you can do the Austin bit. Because Austin, at that point, I don't think was medically cleared to do anything. And when he came back, he looked like he ate himself. But, I mean, you're coming back from neck surgery. That's going to happen to you. But, yeah, that is how I would rebook Mania 2000. Would it be perfect? I don't think so, really. But I think this will be a more memorable card than what we ultimately got. I think the standouts might be the hardcore match, the triangle ladder match, the cage match, and the main event as well. So I think in that order, this could be actually a pretty damn good Mania, all things considered, had they done the booking right. So yeah, folks, that is going to end this video. I am very curious what you guys are going to be thinking about this one here in the comments section below. I know it's been an idea I've been kind of toying with for a little bit. I do have some other rebookings I plan on doing in the future. Again, it's not going to be, you know, it's probably not going to be for the long run. It's just something I want to experiment with a little bit here. It's something I like to do. It's a little bit of fun. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap the big red subscribe button, and tap the bell so on upload, you guys be notified. And how would you rebuild Mania? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, as always, join the herd. Talk to you guys next video. Peace out.